Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my other guy on the other side, Cantu. How was the weekend, man?
Good, good. It was great. We just got back. Zoe and I got back from Arlington. We covered Saturday's game up there. It was a good one. I like the glasses though. I have mines in the car. If I would have known, I would have got mine too.
Dude, I can't even see in these. I'm like having to look up, and they're like pitch black. Like you can't see
Yeah.
nothing at all. This is the
You know
first
what's
time I'm wearing these. I didn't get to like go outside today and check it out.
what's crazy though? That those cost about what $3, and you can look at the sun. Yet Oakley's cost like $200, and they're not sunproof.
Right? They should like invest in something like that. But if they do something like that, it'd be like what? It'd be like $500.
Oh, I'm sure.
It'd be because it's rare. I think the next one coming up, if they do another solar eclipse, I think it's about 20 years from now.
Yeah. Well, but the
Something,
next visible one in Texas, I think it's gonna be about 2078. I think.
something like that. I mean, I'm not a scientist or them aerospace engineers that get to do all this research that we don't do. But yeah, I mean, it was a good weekend. Like you were saying, we went out there Saturday, covered some baseball, the Astros and Rangers. What a cool thing to do and be able to do stuff like that. Write about these guys and see what they do on their everyday kind of things. So very cool to see. But episode 169 is called Texas Two Step because I mean, when you two step, Angel, gotta have two to you gotta have two to tango, two to two step. That's a Texas thing, but you need two teams: the Astros, Rangers, Silver Boot Series, Lone Star Series, whatever you want to call it. They split the series. Obviously, the Rangers in the first two games, Friday and Saturday, they just did a good job against the Astros, and then the Astros kind of got their way back on these past two games on Sunday and Monday, which we did talk about. It was crazy how to have a game on Monday night, and then
Yeah.
Houston got to travel to KC now too to play the Royals at 6:40 tomorrow. So
What's your What's your take on that? Having a series start on Friday but end on Monday.
I don't like it. I'd rather have it on if you do a 3 game series, it's understandable. But a 4 game series all the way to Monday, and if it's going to be on a Monday, I think it has to be a day game. You
Oh,
just can't
absolutely.
do it on a night. And then, like I said, I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be traveling to KC like as soon as the game ends. They're going to shower and just head over there to the airport to head to KC. But yeah, I mean, what about you? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I agree with you. I think if it is gonna happen, a day game uh will be much better just for travel purposes because I'm sure the guys are tired after this game. Have to hit the airport. Probably what they probably won't get there till KC. Say what
I'd
3 in the
say about
morning,
like yeah, about
two,
two
3.
or three. But are they Central Time? Or are they
They're Central Time.
Eastern?
Yeah,
Okay, they're Central still.
yeah.
Okay, well, interesting about that. Joshua, real quick. Hey guys, what's up, my man? Like I said, we're grinding it out right here at this, recapping the games. Now, Gary Longhofer played that song. I think the song he's referring to was our old song back in 23, Sitting Sideways by Paul Wall, which is a great banger, honestly.
Still,
But
still to this day.
to this day, Houston all over that. But real quick on Astros Roundup, we got Framber Valdez scratched on today's start. We'll give more info about that. We'll recap the Rangers series, do who's invited to the Carne Asada after this series, and then pitching previews, a little bit of Astro news and updates around that. And then we go around the horn to see what's going around Major League Baseball because Framber Valdez, and we got two other superstar aces on different teams that are out for the season after getting the bad news. But Angel, you want to start us off, my man?
Yeah, before we do, you know where to follow us on all social media platforms. We are there, and wherever you get your podcast, we are there too. So tell your friends, give a shout out. We try to give you the best coverage. But start out with the biggest news of the night, day, where like whenever you heard it, I know. Shout out to Ari Alexander. He was the first one to break it. I
Mhm.
think early on, I think hours before. I think we even had information about it as well. Uh, Left-handed pitcher Framber Valdez was scratched for tonight's start due to left elbow soreness. I feel like uh, now in this time with this epidemic of pitchers getting hurt, I think you just kind of hold your breath. Injuries aren't, you know, no one's roots for injuries, no matter if you're in like as a fan in the press box, wherever you are, injuries is like it's always something you wanna like don't want to take lightly. But while this foot soreness after playing catch yesterday on the field, he went back to Houston this morning to be examined. So that's that's the fact that to me, the fact that they haven't uh, put him on the IL is a good sign. And that's exactly what Joe Espada said. He said the fact that we didn't put him on the IL was a good sign. So I will see what the doctors say. Yeah. So I think that's a good sign. I think they have their hopes up that it's not nothing serious, but you just have to hold your breath on that, especially with, you know, all the injuries that are happening with pitchers now in the big leagues. Like you saw Spencer Strider go out, Shane Bieber as well, Gary Cole sidelined for a few months. You know, so it's just, and then I think the Astros right now got it a little worse too, just because they already lost Verlander. You know, I mean, he should be back soon, but Urquidy's out too. And I think we were like talking the same tune. You know, that all these pitchers out, and then adding Framber Valdez to that mix too is not a good sign. Like as you saw, there's I don't know if well Belak pitched on like a few days ago and he threw what
Mhm.
6 pitches, so I'm sure he was available. Eric Getty was also not available for today, so they had to bring in Blair Henley, and you saw how that went. Uh, but yeah, so I think they're kind of like hoping that they don't lose him long term because the options are very thin.
Yeah, and you think about it now, like I'm not saying it's going to be very long term because we don't know the results. We don't know if it's going to be later tonight that they get the results of the damage, and like you're saying, knocking on wood, nothing. You don't want to prey on anybody's injury, and Valdez being that guy with soreness, and especially in the left elbow, I don't think anybody likes to hear that at all. But you think back about it, like, and I've been very firm on this. I've been like, the Astros should have had signed another starting pitcher just in case. And I had talked about possibly that the Astros should sign Michael Lorenzen, which
Yeah,
now he
that's a
is on
good
the
one.
Texas Rangers. Obviously giving him like maybe a year kind of deal. But things like that happen. I mean, not everybody's going to be healthy throughout the whole season. It's 162 games, especially pitchers. They're throwing consistently, and things like that happen. Like Dana Brown said though too, he said he's not really too concerned about it. He don't think it's going to be a major type of injury. Hopefully not. That he was kind of saying. But at the same time too, it's like for me, Blair Hanley did whatever he could. I feel like this
Yeah,
was a last minute kind of thing to say, hey, they need you in Arlington. Get on the first plane or get on Jim Crane's plane. Whoever's paying the plane, or if he even drove up there, because Arlington's not like a far drive. It's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive.
yeah,
Um, things like that. I think you can't really blame the guy pitching. He did whatever he could. We'll talk about that in a minute, but just hoping is nothing long term if you're an Astros fan, because let's count down the starting pitchers that are out right now. You got Justin Verlander, who's on rehab assignments and trying to get back where he's at. Possibly Framber Valdez could be on the IL. Possibly. I said possibly. Jose Urquidy's on the IL. Lance McCullers Jr. is on the IL. Luis Garcia's on the IL. And right now, starting pitching, which it's been great for the Astros, but look what happened to Hunter Brown this last start. I mean, man, he got rocked pretty good against the Rangers. The Rangers are a great offensive team, but I mean, the command, we spoke about this about Hunter Brown. He has to have the command to get going, and he just did not have that in that start.
yeah,
So it just makes it razor thin to say who's the next guy up. You're not going to expect Ronel Blanco to continue doing what he's doing right now, because what he's doing is just out of this world. He's just pitching
yeah.
his butt off for the Astros. But when you look on paper, what you have without Framber Valdez, you're going to look at Christian Javier, Hunter Brown, JP France, um, Ronel Blanco, and then that fifth guy right now is Brandon Belak.
Probably be like yeah.
And I doubt the Astros are gonna go early on to go get Spencer Arrighetti to make his MLB debut right now.
And I'm sure it was a possibility, but again, he wasn't available. I think he pitched less than 3 days ago, either yesterday, 2 days. I'm not too sure.
Joshua said, "I'm worried about Valdez," and then Tony said Astros should have signed Jake Odorizzi, which is an interesting one because I think we have talked about it. I want to
Yeah,
say
I think
maybe.
I had mentioned one of those as well.
Yeah, on your pitching list, if the Astros are going to go get somebody for a 1 year deal. And Jake Odorizzi, I don't think he's pitched this year. I don't even think he's on a team right now.
No, he's a free agent.
Yeah, so a possibility that maybe if in the worst case scenario Valdez is out for mid to long term, you might go back and go look at Jake Odorizzi. Garrett Longhofer, real quick, say roll out Willie and see what happens, which could be a possibility. And then Tony just kind of piggybacked on that. As far as Willie still hurt,
No,
I want to say he went on a he's
he's
pitching with AAA now.
yeah, he's back, but
Yeah,
it's gonna take him a while to get anything close to a major league level.
yeah. So it was kind of an out of the blue thing with Framber Valdez because like you said, Ari kind of broke the news. I want to say maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock today,
Okay.
or maybe possibly 3. So it was really late. And like Angel had said, I mean, Valdez kind of told the Astros that he was feeling sore yesterday playing catch on the field. Um, it's not a good sign, but at the same time, too, maybe it's just something that he could just ice his arm on. That's nothing that you could put Tiger Bomb like what we did back in the day, or putting that icy hot on it. But that's kind of a concern. I don't think it's major until you get the results, and then obviously just go from there and see what happens.
Yeah, but again, the Astros are hopeful, and I think that's when I'm sure they got their fingers crossed real tight because again, it's a very very thin line. But I feel like if Framber Valdez does end up on the IL, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I wouldn't be surprised if Spencer Arrighetti is called up. I know, like right now, Brandon Bilek is handling that. Would probably handle that start. So I think I, I think those are like the biggest two options for the Astros. Like worst case scenario, Framber Valdez does end up in the IL.
And then reminder too, Justin Verlander is going to have probably another 2 rehab starts
Yeah.
before he comes back and makes his 2024 debut. But it's
But
unfortunate.
before we move on, I think let's talk a little bit about Ronel Blanco. I know we're gonna talk about it a little bit, but when everybody's all set and healthy, and when Ronel Blanco's pitching the way he is, like how do you remove him out the
I feel
rotation?
like you got to continue rolling him in the starting rotation. This is where I
Yeah,
come in and say that the Astros need to go to a 6 man. I honestly think they need to to give these guys an extra day of rest, especially Justin Verlander. I said, I mean, the guy's 40 years old.
yeah,
His arm's not like what he was back with Detroit his rookie year. I mean, the guy's getting older. Fatigue's come to set in. You've seen Christian Javier, you've seen Hunter Brown, how these starts come into play. If Ronel Blanco's throwing the ball like the way he's throwing, why are you going to put him into the bullpen? Why are you going to put him in that middle relief? Taylor Scott did a good job today. Seth Martinez did a great job today for them. Rafael Montero hasn't looked bad for the Astros. So if the bullpen could continue throwing how they were throwing in this Ranger series, because they didn't really do a bad job, then why not just continue using Blanco in the starting rotation?
yeah. All right, I
But
agree with you.
we'll just have to monitor that. We'll have to see. We'll let everybody know if something does occur with Framber Valdez, if it's major, if it's minor, things like that. We'll just have to continue to monitor that. But anything else before we move on for Framber Valdez, Angel?
No, we're good.
All right, let's move on to the recap of the Ranger series because let's start off with today. Today, the offense killed it. The offense did a great job for the Astros. Yordan Alvarez continuing doing what he's been doing. Victor Caratini, first Astro home run of the season for him. I mean, we've talked about his offense being beneficial to hit on both sides of the plate. I think he's going to be a great asset, especially being the backup catcher. And then the pitching. I mean, like I said, Blair Henley, last minute call up, made his major league debut. It was a great job for him. Great story. He was a Rangers fan. Did you know that? He was a
Yeah, yeah,
Rangers fan.
he went to Arlington Heights, I believe, high school.
Yeah, 20 miles away from Globe Life. I guess you could say park because that's what it
Hmm.
was at the time. But 20 miles away from Globe Life Field, being able to pitch against a team that he was been rooting for, I mean, that's pretty special, at least as a family to go through. But Blair Henley's debut was not the best. Angel, I know you have told me that there was a little bit of bloops here and there when he was pitching. He only went 1/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts. I mean, like I said, you really can't do
Command was
nothing
an
about that.
issue.
Command was an issue.
Yeah,
I mean, you really couldn't do nothing about it, though. Like I said, I'm not gonna really bash on the guy because I felt like it was a last minute thing. What can you do? You can't really prepare yourself until I would say, get the notice about 2 or 3 days later. I mean, 2 or 3 days before the start. So nothing to be, shaking your head up. As long as the Astros got to win, I think that's all that mattered for him. But let's go with the bullpen because they did a fantastic job. Seth Martinez, 32 pitches, a career high in innings. He threw 3 2/3, one hit, no runs, no walks, two strikeouts. Phenomenal job on his end to come out of the bullpen and that horrendous start from Henley and just continue doing what he can to put the Astros in a good place to win.
Yeah, Seth Martinez came in with the bases loaded, 1 out, and needed 4 pitches to get a double play. So I think Seth Martinez could have easily been the MVP of this game because he stopped it from getting ugly, especially in that tough situation and giving the Astros, like you said, 3.2 innings. It's kind of saving the game a little bit there. I think he got the win too, so much earned win for him too as well.
Definitely. And let's continue on with the bullpen. I mean, Taylor Scott did a fantastic job as well coming out. 2 innings, one hit, no runs, one walk, two strikeouts, following Martinez's spectacular outing, I guess you could say. And then Brandon Belag, like you were saying, I mean, he pitched, I believe, either Friday or Saturday, one of those games. He gives the Astros 2 innings, one hit, no runs, no walks, and one strikeout. Credit to everybody in that bullpen. Brian Abreu made an appearance as well. Um, to get a game like that and when the Astros were losing 5-2, I mean, they did score early on 2-0, but Henley kind of, like you were saying, he struggled with command, and then the bullpen kind of solidified themselves, not giving up any runs. I think it was like maybe 8 2/3 of the bullpen going in scoreless. Fantastic job on their end, especially how the bullpen's been playing out throughout the whole season for the Astros.
Oh, and then breaking news. So from per China Rome, Blair Hanley has been optioned back to AAA. So it was a spot start for him.
Yeah, I mean, you had to figure about that. I mean, I don't think he was going to stay on, but credit to him being able to bring that extra arm and help the Astros out. But it is what it is. He did make his MLB debut. I think that's all that mattered to him, and the
Yeah.
Astros got the win. But next up, I mean, in the beginning of this series, offense was a no-show, I would say, for the Astros, including runners in scoring position. I'd say 3 out of the 4 games, the Astros bats were, I would say, kind of cold. I think they didn't really produce like they wanted to. The first game, they only produced 3 hits. Jose Altuve hit a leadoff single. Corey Bradford. And then after that, I guess you could credit Bradford too. He shut down the Astros lineup and didn't allow a hit until the 8th inning to Jeremy Pena. Um, yeah, it wasn't a great start for the Astros. I thought they would have carried that momentum from that last game against the Blue Jays, come to Arlington and kind of do the same thing, but it just did not happen. I would kind of credit this to the Jake Myers game because he did make some great plays for the Astros, and he did put the 2 runs on the board for them with a 2-run shot off of Yuri Rodriguez. So, and I did mention Corey Bradford in that start. Backdoor pitches, off-speed pitches, changeup, curveball, fastball, everything was working for him. Telling to the outside part of the play, lower half two against righties. Lefties couldn't even figure him out either. I think you just kind of have to tip your cap on a performance like that against, for Bradford against the Astros.
Yeah, like you said, the whole kitchen sink was working with him. So it was kind of, and he followed the same game plan you told us about. You kind of predicted that. So shout out to you on that. And just the Astros couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, and then it kind of moved on to the second game. I mean, the Astros did hit better than the first 8 hits. However, they only scored 2 runs, and that was off of an error from Corey Seager. So I wouldn't even count that as any run production for the Astros. Runners in scoring position, they struggled 1 for 6. They left 10 men on base. And it was a close game throughout the whole time. I mean, the Astros were leading 2-0. France gave up 2 earned runs, 2 to 3 earned runs, I want to say. I mean, it was a close game. Back in the bullpen kind of did not handle for the Astros as well. Brian Abreu struggled, and then Ryan Presley, which I was pretty shocked to see Presley give up, I want to say it was 2 or 3 earned runs against the Rangers in the 8th inning. So I think they're just getting used to their new roles in this team. They've been struggling. Brady's been struggling. Presley's been struggling. Even Hader, he's been struggling with command, and he even announced it on the to the media that his command hasn't been there that he would like it to be. But it's just of a game of adjustments, and you maybe they do something to fix that.
Yeah, and I'm sure that'll get better soon. I think it's just like some early season woes for the uh I guess you would say three-headed monster in the back end of the bullpen, but I think things will turn around.
And if you think about it too, I mean, it's kind of been the back end
Hmm.
how this bullpen hasn't been producing lately. I mean, if you look at the ERA as a team, as the Astros bullpen, it hasn't been great, and it's been. I don't want to put the blame on the back end, but it's been majority of the earned runs have been from the back end of the bullpen. It's been from Abreu, it's been from Presley, and it's been from Hader. I think it's too early in the season to determine how they're gonna be coming into the end of the season. I think it's just kind of getting a grasp of your new role and just trying to produce at the best you can. Of course, you got to remember Hader's working with a new catchers. Presley and Abreu are working with Yiner Diaz too. That's frankly brand new because he's the everyday guy now instead of Martin Maldonado. So I think it's kind of going to be a team effort to get back on track and produce as what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean
And
absolutely.
then last but not least, real quick on the third game, they only produced 4 hits. Luckily, the Astros did win that game 3-1, courtesy of Jordan Alvarez 3-run homer. I think that was in the mid part of the game or in the beginning part of the game, but it just did not finish well. Runners in scoring position, 1 for 4, 5 left on base. Like I said, luckily the Astros did win that game against the Rangers, but honestly, the Rangers had a bunch of opportunities too, and they just didn't capitalize. And the Astros just had that one big hit. So credit to what they could do, but this offense, if you put it on paper, I mean, if you look on paper, dude, you have Jose Altuve, Jordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Yonder Diaz, Jose Abreu. I mean, we've talked about this. This lineup is stacked, but as of right now, which Bregman did have a good game in this last game of the series, Jose Abreu right now for the Astros. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like I don't want to say he's lost at the plate, but it's just I mean I just don't know how to put it into words where he's at right now. He's hitting under 1. I think he's like hitting 70 a .07 something batting average.
Yeah, I think at some point you got to think about it's probably the mental aspect of the game for Jose Abreu because I mean we saw him take extra BP on Saturday prior to the game. He was out there with a few other Astros. I think Bregman was out there too. Uh, Mauricio Dubon as well, and he like his swing, he was just like letting it go,
Short and
and I think
compact.
yeah, and I think he was under one, like he got under it and he still took it out of the park, and then he hit one straight on center field and he got it like I think it's just more of that mental aspect. Like his abilities there, he still can hit, he still can produce like he did back then. It's just like you said, it's like that unexplainable part of the game where you just no matter what you do, like you can't figure it out. And like he's had to hit, so sometimes like that's all it takes to turn your season around. But I kind of I kind of think he's on a shorter leash this year though. And like when like I know Dusty Baker gave him the benefit of the doubt plenty of times, which is fair. It's his first year, the 3-year contract. Adjusting to a new place. He was in Chicago the entire his entire career, so I gave him that. But it's year 2 now. You've been here before. Go ahead.
No, no, continue what you were saying. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, like it's year 2. You've been here before. You're familiar with this coaching staff. No one really left. It's just now time to produce. Like this is it. And I think with Joey Luperfielders playing first base, I
Yeah.
think he knows that that leash is getting shorter and shorter for Jose Abreu.
Yeah, Jose Abreu is 37 years old. 30 at bats. He only has 2 hits. Let me just I'm looking at it
Two
right. Yeah,
hits.
his batting average is 67 and he has 11 strikeouts as of right now.
And the thing with I feel the difference between Baker and Espada is he's not afraid to drop him in that batting order. As you saw, he's batted seventh. I think he put Chas McCormick in
Just
front of
McCormick
him.
and Jerry
Daniel
Pena as well.
Diaz. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Jerry Pena too. So I mean, I think that's a little. not a punch in the face to Abreu, but that's just like a warning. It's like, hey, you need to start putting
But
your
I
end of
mean,
the
too,
work.
Joe Espada has been a guy that's been pushing. He's been telling the media,
Yeah.
"I believe in him. I
No,
believe in
yeah,
him. I
absolutely.
know he had like because like we talked about, he's won an American League MVP. He has a Rookie of the Year. He's an All Star. The guy can produce. I'm pretty.
Silver
I'm not sure.
sluggers.
Does he have Silver Sluggers as well?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy knows how to hit. Right now, and I've told you this thousands of times. Right now, he's struggling hitting the fastball. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know how to contemplate it. I mean, it like you said too. We saw him on the field in Arlington take BP with Alex Bregman. Cintron was there. Mauricio Dubon was there, and himself, including John Singleton as well. I just don't understand. Maybe, like you're saying, maybe it is the mental aspect of this game for him that he's just getting into his head. I remember watching the game today, and one of the at bats, he swung and missed. He got out of the box and he kind of hit himself on the head with, on against his helmet, his hand against his helmet, and he's kind of like he's being too hard on himself. I think if he just lets the game come to him, enjoys it, has fun, you can watch another guy change because remember he had 90 RBIs last year. That was a silent 90 RBIs that anybody has talked about.
Okay.
Real
And
quick.
then
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Well, I was gonna prove your point with the fastball, so I'm looking at his stats right here. He has one hit off a fastball. They've thrown it 49 times to him. He's whiffed at it 43.5%.
You see?
And then he's struck out on it 42.9.
So they're just going to continue eating him up on
Yeah.
fastballs, just four
And then
seamers, two seamers, whatever.
the sinker is his second most whiff. The sinker and the sliders is like the most whiff pitches for Jose Abreu. A slider is 42.9%. A sinker is 27.3% as well.
Which I
So,
mean, the
but
sinker is like the
the
fastball motor.
fastball,
It's like
yeah.
we talked about. It tells and dips.
But fastball sinker is what they're throwing Abreu, and that's what they're getting outs from.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to continue doing it until they can prove them wrong.
Hmm.
Real quick, let's catch up with the comments. Can the team DFA the older Abreu and bring back Mancini or give Looper Fido a shot? I don't think they're going to DFA him just for the fact that he's a veteran.
It's better than
And
getting
yeah,
paid.
yeah, he's going to get paid. I don't think, and he also piggyback on that. Just eat the 38 mil. I don't think they're going to do that. I just don't see it. The team has tried putting John Singleton to get some ABs, and I mean Singleton too hasn't really produced. Um, yeah, obviously he is a backup, but he hasn't produced being in that backup role. I do agree. Maybe giving Looper Fido a shot, and we talked about it, and you said it too, Andrew. I mean, he's getting some reps at first base. It's just getting the process for him continuing to progress at first. Then he could get all the amount of reps and be ready when it comes to being in that major
Hmm.
league debut. Because I think if Looper Fido does make his debut this year, it's going to be at first base more than the outfield.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Abreu's offensive woes is also affecting his defensive work. Like I know Jose Abreu is not a defensive, not like known for his defense, but there's been some like scoops that they're routine. Like
Yeah.
what are you practicing those, and he's just not like getting this to them. So I think it's just getting. I feel once he can get right on offense, his whole area of the game will get much better too.
Yeah, Garrett, real quick, disappointing is how to describe it. Tony, we already eating LMJ, exponent salary. Garrett, bad just looks slow. And then Joshua said, I don't want Abreu DFA'd, which I just don't see the Astros DFAing Abreu. I just don't see it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't
Because
either.
I think he's too good. And I'm not saying I'm a fan of his. It's just the fact that he's been there, he's done that, he's gone through the highs, he's gone through the lows. It happens. It's baseball. That's the beauty of this game. You're gonna have some slumps. And we talked about the Astros being a slump team in the beginning of the season. They're not gonna win 10 games straight, or they're not gonna win 10-3 in 13 games. They're a slow team. Everybody just has to be patient. I mean, they're 4-7 now. It's just 11 games in. I feel like we're preaching this. We sound like a broken record talking about this. Like I said, Jose Abreu had 90 RBIs last season. a
And that was a
silent
down
night
year.
RBIs, and that yeah, exactly. Playing through injuries as well, which I don't know if he's playing through an injury, but I mean he did take on Pilates. Maybe I don't know how that's like, but I just think you just got to take it slow with him. He's older. I mean, we've already discussed about it, but let's move on real quick. In the last part of the recap, we got to talk about Ronel Blanco because this guy is doing a
The
fantastic.
ace of the.
Yeah, he is looking like an ace for the Astros right now, continuing to dominate for them. He threw 5 2/3 scoreless innings until Adolis Garcia knocked a single up the middle. Altuve tried for it, but I think it would have been a tough play, even though he would have gotten the ball and tried to throw him out first. Real quick, Ronell's stat line in that game: 6 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. El Cambio Angel, it was working again. Command was kind of a little bit iffy, but
Yeah.
shoot, I mean, 1 hit baseball in 6 innings. Credit to the dude; he did a great job for them. Which he did win AL Player of the Week. We'll talk about that here
His mom
later
was in
on.
town. His mom was in town too, so she
Yeah,
was there to witness that start too.
maybe Mama needs to be in the games for Ronell and his Astro starts. But real quick, a little bit of history on this guy because he's making history through Major League Baseball. He threw 14 consecutive no-hit innings. The only two guys to do more than that is 2015 Washington National Max Scherzer with 16, as well as 1996 New York Yankees Dwight Gooden, the
Nice.
Doc, not in the Mets pinstripes, but he's in the Yankee pinstripes for that. And then more to add on per Sarah Langs, what she does, of course, fantastic work on her research. His 44 outs before his first hit allowed are the most by a pitcher to begin a season in at least the expansion era, which started in 1961. And then Ronel Blanco's 44 consecutive outs without allowing a hit is the second longest streak at any point in a season in Astros franchise history, behind only. I was waiting for an Angel. Come on.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That sounds like maybe a Pedro Martinez star right there.
I mean, Pedro Martinez isn't on the Astros
Oh,
franchise history. Yes,
Astros,
Astros
Astros. My
history.
bad.
Astros.
I
I know it.
misheard.
I know it's 10:37, man. I know.
I
I know
I
you
was
sleep.
looking. I was looking for some piece of history too. So my bad. Astros. Give me the rock. Maybe the Rocket or something.
Give us 1986 Mike Scott, which 86 Scott is a different breed with that split finger. He had 51 consecutive outs, but I mean, hey, putting your history with a Astros Hall of Famer who has his number already inducted into the Astros Hall of Fame, 33. I mean, that's pretty cool to be a part of. And same thing with Max Scherzer and Dwight Gunn. Those were great pitchers back in their days, in their primes, I guess you can say. Um, but real quick, Just Fans, great show. Y'all killing like always. Joshua, guys, thank you so much for doing these live episodes. I really love them. And then Garrett, to end it on the recap of the Ranger series, it's Ronell time, which El Cambio and the fastball mix, if he continues doing that and it just dials in, there's no exception that he should be in the bullpen. He should be in the starting rotation.
Yeah, and then Johnny Vandermeer's record for back-to-back no hitters start the season it's safe. It's safe for another year. But it's time for my favorite segment, Who's Invited to the Carne Asada. But before we start, you got it?
Go ahead, start it.
No, but before we start, man, I know, I know to get the Cobos Q barbecue fans, kind of disappointed, but that was barbecue in Arlington.
Come on, man. You had to do it right here.
Oh, I
You
had to
had
do
to
it
do it
right
right here,
here.
man.
You
Let me
know,
tell you, when he introduced me to this place, because he did live at Mesquite at the time. So when he introduced me to this Herdado barbecue,
Hurtado's barbecue.
Hurtado,
Hurtado's barbecue.
the best barbecue I've ever tasted.
Yes.
Ever tasted. I haven't been to Pinkertons. I haven't been to those kind of places that are kind of out in the Texas country. This barbecue though, oh man. Burnt ends,
Choco, bro. That's what they got me.
perfect. You're talking about Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
But real quick, let's sound off the little soundtrack real quick.
All right.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I was
Let's
waiting for
start
your
with.
gate.
There you go. Oh, no, I'm gonna do this live. But
Hold on, real quick. My fault. Got to roll the R.
Hurtado. Yeah.
Hurtado. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Hurtado. Appreciate it, compa.
He's working on his Spanish. He's working on it.
I'm
But
trying. I'm trying my best.
you know what? Let's start with Jordan Alvarez. I think uh, Jordan Alvarez, he was our MVP for this game, or today's game. And I think it could easily been back to back games because he was long. He started the whole. He was the reason why the Astros won yesterday. I believe he's the reason why they won today as well. He kind of started that Astros offensive surge there. He went 6 for 15, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs. He's the Astros home run leader and RBI leader so far. Jeremy Pena had briefly passed him up, and then Jordan Alvarez was like, you know what? Give me that crown back real quick. So he, erased that deficit so far. And then my next person, Ronel Blanco. I think again, back to back days for Ronel Blanco to be invited to the Carne Asada. He's going to be in charge of the tortillas. He's going to be 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. And like you said, he broke a lot of history with his 15 innings like pitch without allowing a run and only allowing a hit. And then we have a surprise one, Seth Martinez. I think
Ooh.
without Seth Martinez in this game, again, this game could have easily gone away from the Astros quickly. Again, 5 runs with only 1 out, bases loaded, coming into that jam. I think that's one of honestly, I think a relief pitcher would rather come in that situation than when the base is empty, just because if
Mhm.
you're able to get out of it, lights up the entire dugout because they know you just gave them a chance. And then the last two people by the Carne Asada, give me some Jake Myers. He had a pretty good series, two
Jake
for eight,
Myers.
2 for 8. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put him in charge of the salsa, but he better not bring that El de salsa.
That
Or that
picante.
can. It'll be 1 home run, 2 RBIs, and then Victor Carantini, 2 for 3, made most of his opportunity, 1 home run and 3 RBIs. But if you think somebody else should be invited to the Carne Asada, let us know in the comments. We'll take,
Please.
let us know, comment. But those are the
I,
5 people
I
for
feel
this
like
game.
Ronel Blanco has been a guy that's just he's just leaving. Like he's just leaving the whole thing.
Look
He
at
better not bring potato salad with raisins.
that's funny.
Oh, you forgot to say what meat. You forgot the meat. What
Oh,
what
the
what
meat.
what kind of
You
meat
know
is
what?
what's today's meat?
Let's go with some burnt ends this time around.
Burnt ends.
Burns
Wow.
in, yeah.
I mean, they were great. I mean, I
It
can't
was
lie.
great. They were great, and then that banana pudding too. Like to me, barbecue's not good. Like a restaurant's not good if it doesn't have good sides. And
Yeah, it has to have great size. That
go,
makes the barbecue, I'd say.
so if any Astros fans go to Arlington, stop at Hotels, bro. You won't regret it.
Haha, no hay pedo. Great show. Love it. I'm sorry. I'll practice my R's, my rolling my R's, and then Gary. That's the song I meant when I said play that song. You see. I
There
think
we
that's the
go.
song
There we
everybody was
go.
waiting for. But yeah, I mean, shoot, Ronel Blanco is just leading the way. I think he's just hosting it at this point every time at his house. Jordan
So
Alvarez. I think this is his second time on the
yeah,
list for us. So great candidates. There could have been more, but great list of guys to bring the essentials. But let's preview real quick that KC matchup because Kansas City right now, honestly, they've been playing great baseball. I think they're first or second in the Central as of right now with a 6-4 record. I
yeah.
mean, they got great pitching that's been doing great for them, not just in the starting rotation, but in the bullpen as
Cole
well.
Reagan's.
Cole Reagans, which the Astros are going to see, which we'll talk about here. Well, let's start it off right there. Shoot. Tuesday, 6:40 start time. You got Christian Javier on the mound for the Astros, 1-0 with a 0 ERA. Cole Reagans, 0-1 with a 1.46 ERA. And real quick with Christian Javier, he had a good start. It just kind of just dealt with the walks. And we've talked about if his command could continue being great, you could see him most likely pitching through 6 and 7 innings, but hey, he did a great job for the Astros, throwing 1 hit baseball, no earned runs, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. He was one shy from tying his career high in walks. That would have been 6, but he threw 97 pitches, 51 strikes. So that shows right there with the ball to strike ratio. He's done a great job in the being that second guy in the rotation. 2 starts. He's only allowed 5 hits and 0 earned runs. Like I said, I think you got to just have him settle down with the command, with the walks. If he just continues doing what he's doing without struggling, trying to find the zone, there shouldn't be no problem him having success against the Royals team like going against Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt Jr., MJ Melendez.
Yeah, and what I think with Cole Reagans is that he has a much improved fastball from last year. Last year's fastball run value was at 36, which puts him at -2.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has an opponent batting average of 125. He's gotten 5 strikeouts on it, and he's only allowed 2 hits on his fastball as well. So I think that's the pitch he has to need to jump on, but beware because he's not afraid to throw it for strike 3 as well.
And this is Cole Reagans.
Cole Reagan, sorry.
Yeah. So let me give you that stat real quick. At Baltimore, which Baltimore's a great team.
Mm-hmm.
We both predicted them, I think, for the AL East, I would say. I know I did for sure. But 6 in the third, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. I'd say Cole Reagans found himself after being traded from the Texas Rangers. He just found
big loss for them.
Yeah, they just does he win a World Series ring though?
Did he pitch a game?
I think he does. I think he does.
If he pitched a game, that came out the bullpen, I think he does.
Yeah, I want to say too, but after being traded from Texas in that second half of the season for KC, he had a 5.2 record, 2.64 ERA through 89 strikeouts, 2.48 FIP. The changeup, that's going to be his specialty besides the fastball. Has more spin than it did last year. Last year it was 2057 RPMs, and this year it's 2177, an opponent batting average of 111. So beware of El Cambio for Mr. Reagans if you're an Astros hitter. Then moving on to Wednesday with Hunter Brown, 640 start time as well. He's 0-1 with a 6.43 ERA. Seth Lugo, on the other hand, 1-0 with a 0.71 ERA. We talked about real quick, just a little bit about it. Hunter Brown's last start wasn't the best. I would say this is probably the worst start I've ever seen him pitch in a while. 3 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. And like I said, I mean, the command was everywhere. Fastball was just missing its spots. Curveball was not breaking at all. He tried throwing, I want to say he has a cutter. I'm not 100% sure. He tried just throwing different pitches, and it just did not find the zone. Credit to Adolis Garcia, who hit a ball right on his chin. I don't know how he hit that, but he hit it. 3-run shot. It kind of opened the game up for the Rangers to continue doing more damage. So you really can't do nothing about that. That's a pitcher's pitch. Adolis just did a great piece of hitting on it and took it the other way.
Yeah, he does throw a cutter.
He does.
Yeah. Opponent batting average, though, 500.
Not what you want to hear if you're an Astros fan. But Seth Lugo, real quick. Last start versus the White Sox, 6 2/3, 8 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. For Seth Lugo, last year, 17 fastball run value. That is the impressive part about him. Yeah. It was 96th percentile on StatCast. Right now, as of this season, the slider has a 42.9 whip percentage. Curveball has a 31.29 spin rate, which is crazy to me. That curveball is working for him. That's what he's going to throw majority of the time. It's going to be I believe the fastball and the curve mix. He does throw that slider, which does have that 42.9 whip percentage. So be aware of them 3 pitches when you're watching the game. But his last 2 starts against Houston, the Astros have terrorized him. He pitched against them when he was with the Mets in 2017. And then recently with the Padres in 2023, he has an 0-2 record with a 9.91 ERA, 9.1 innings pitch, 15 hits, 10 earned runs. So the Astros, I'm not going to say that they're going to have success off the bat against them. It's a different season. You never know what's going to happen. But it's kind of encouraging to see that they do have a little bit of success off of Seth Lugo. Then go ahead.
No, I say like there's potential there for the Astros to have a big game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just a good pitching performance. That might be an underrated pitching performance, honestly. Hunter Brown and Seth Lugo. But to end the series, Thursday 1:10 start time, which you see that's how you end a series for the next game to come up because the Astros do play at 7:10 at Minute Maid Park on Friday. But Thursday 1:10 start time, you got JP France on the mound for the Astros. 0-1 record with a 4.76 ERA. He'll be going against Brady Singer, 1-0, 0.68 ERA. And France's last start, I'd say was not bad. I think it was pretty productive, especially coming off the paternity list. Congrats to him having a baby girl as well. But that dash strength, it didn't look bad. 5 and 2/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. It was like we talked about. It was just the offense couldn't produce for him at that point, and the Rangers kind of took advantage of what they could. But Angel, I mean, how would you describe his performance? I think it was pretty good. But give me your thoughts. What do you think about it?
No, yeah, I mean he looked good. Um, it was just a little bit of leaving too many pitches out over the plate, and then I think the walks kind of got to him as well. But I mean, he did pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was a good start. It wasn't his best start, but I think he pitched pretty good. 5 and 2/3 is going to give you, especially with the bullpen being taxed already at that time. 3 earned runs. If he pitches and if he gets another out, that's a quality start in the books.
Yeah,
Like I
and,
said, it's just the offense that didn't really produce for him.
yeah, like he kept the Astros in the game for sure. I know. I mean, 3 earned runs, like you said, 3 runs or less in 6 innings, a quality start, and he was just 1 out away. But I think he kept the Astros in the game. Like you said, it's just that game. The Astros could have easily been blanketed if Boris here doesn't get that throwing error.
Yeah, definitely. It would have been a shutout for the Astros. But real quick on Singer, last start versus the White Sox, 6 and 1/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. The interesting part about him, because I had to dig deep about this, he throws the 4-seam fastball more than he ever did last year. Last year, he only threw it five times last year in the whole 2023 season. This
Mm-hmm.
year, he's thrown it about 31 times. The slider is going to be his bread and butter for him on that part. He throws that the most of it, but he has a 5.6 inch in total movement, which is his best pitch out of all of them. 198 expected batting average, 211 WOBA, and a 36.4 strikeout percentage. So be aware of that slider if you're an Astros hitter, and Astros fans, keep an eye on that because he does really great on that pitch. But he does have a kryptonite. Astros lefties, which the Astros do have Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, and you could throw John Singleton in there if he gets a game in. Um, they have to tee off on his changeup. Didn't throw the changeup against righties. He only threw it to lefties. And the lefties, he only threw it 8 times. You want to give me a guess on that batting average real quick?
I'm looking at it right now. So go, yeah,
1.000.
1,000.
1,000 batting average to lefties on the changeup. So if you're Yordan Alvarez, if you're Kyle Tucker, you're salivating. I can't even talk right now, dude. It's already getting late, but you're salivating on that pitch. You're just getting ready for it, and you're taking it to the other way, pulling it, gap, whatever you want to do. So be aware of that. But interesting pitching series, I would say, for the Royals. It looks like they gotten better in that aspect of their game. They did sign Seth Lugo this offseason, and they're going against 3 good starters. I mean, shoot, 2 of them have a ERA under 1, and Cole Reagan's, you already know what he did last year in the second half of the season for the Royals. So it should be a great pitching matchup for both teams, I would say.
Yeah, and the thing with Brady Singer is that, and like you did mention that he's throwing a fastball a little bit more. I think because last year he kept throwing that sinker slider too often, and it was often, it became very predictable. So I think what he's gonna try to do with that fastball is try to surprise you with it, either for strike three or to try to get ahead of the count. So I think that's what they actually look for.
Real quick, you want to say what El Campo said? Because if I say it, he's going to be mad at me.
Yeah, it says Jordan brings the habichuelas to
To the
to
Carne
the
Asada.
carne asada. Yeah.
Okay. And then Tony Ocampo still in Miami. No,
Yeah.
actually, no, he's not. I think he's in
No?
Pittsburgh now. I think
Is he?
yeah, I want to say he had a better job opportunity and he took advantage of the Pittsburgh Pirates position. Um, but yeah, I think when you're
No,
researching that,
he's still with the Marlins.
oh, he is, or did
Assistant
he
manager
leave
for
the
Marlins.
Pirates?
I think he left the Pirates because he
Okay,
says
so
he's with the Marlins. Yeah.
okay, so yeah, you are right, Tony. I thought he went to the Pirates. Maybe he did leave the Pirates after the Astros. I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but great series. It should be interesting what the Astros do and what the Royals do, especially
Remember,
with their success.
remember the Royals did sweep the Astros last year too. So
Yeah.
and then they are I think MLB predicted them to, or Fox or MLB, one of those predicted them to win the AL Central. So they're a little sneaky team out there. I think they have some good young players, and they're improving. As you see, that Brady Singer's trying to get better on the mound because he did have a negative 12 run value on that sinker. But how is he trying to complement that? Is using that fastball, like Zoe said. So it'll be an interesting series for sure. But I guess moving on to Astros news. Ronel Blanco won AL Player of the Week. I think that was a given after that pitching performance, that back-to-back pitching performance that he had. Blanco
Mhm.
has on 15 scoreless innings, allowing one hit, 6 walks, 11 strikeouts, and 2 starts. In addition, he threw his first career no hitter in 8 starts against the Blue Jays. And I was looking to see who was the fastest. You said Tyler Gilbert. That's impressive.
I think it
Throwing
was what, 2 starts or 3?
his
1.
first start,
Oh, wow.
his first start throwing no hitter. I didn't think it'd be hard to beat, hard to replicate because that was just an amazing pitching performance by him. But Ronel Blanco deserves it. He's had honestly a hell of a month, 2 weeks if you want to say for Ronel Blanco. But his story is great. It's much deserved. Almost didn't make it to major leagues, because like in the Dominican Republic, once you're past 20, teams don't start looking at you.
Yeah.
But they gave him a shot, and he's making the most of that opportunity. And I think some injury news that is going on. I think Astros fans are, you know, want to hear what's going on with Justin Verlander. Well, he had his first rehab start. JB completed his first rehab on Sunday afternoon in AAA for the Space Cowboys. He threw 65 pitches, 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. He averaged around 93 miles per hour. And honestly, you can throw away that stat, like that result in the
Yeah.
trash. Like that's not really what he doesn't really care about the results. Just coming out there healthy, feeling good on the mound, and just working on his pitches. Because once he gets to the major leagues, he has no time to work on mechanics, work on the fundamentals, get that feel because it's serious now. So the brightest spot is that he does feel good. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 more rehab starts before you see him in a Nationals uniform. But I think him coming out healthy out of this rehab starts a big win for the Astros.
Definitely.
Some little roster moves as well. The Astros acquired infielder Jacob Maya from the Miami Marlins in exchange for cash considerations and minor league right-handed pitcher Valente Belloso. Maya was optioned in Sugarland. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's like uh, a replacement for Bregman or anything like that, but they're both stringing up that minor league system that's very deeply hurt. I think because of those 4 picks that were lost because of the scandal that the Astros had. And then per Ari Alexander, like we said, the Astros called up right-handed pitcher Blair Henley. You saw him pitch today, and he replaced left-handed pitcher Framber Valdez for tonight.
Yeah, that
And
Jacob Amaya one's real quick. I'm trying to see. He's a sub 200 hitter, maybe a little lower too. He has a 182 right now in the minor leagues as we are speaking. He had 252 last year, but he is an infielder,
mhm.
so I don't know. Maybe he can make
They
his
probably
way
saw
up.
something. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe they can. Especially we talked about so much about the Astros development that they have here in Houston. I think they could maybe make a positive out of it. I don't know, but yeah, it was an interesting move to see that happen.
yeah. But I mean, they know what they're doing. They're in the front office for a reason. So, uh, I mean, could be a little sleeper pick again. People were like, "Who's Jordan Alvarez?" When he first got traded. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not saying Jacob Myers, like Jordan Alvarez, right? But it's just you never know what could happen. But moving on to around the horn, I think just because of time, like we'll just cover the biggest subject there is around baseball, and that is superstar pitchers getting hurt. It's been a common trend. You saw Spencer Strider, Shane Bieber, Yuri Perez, Shane McClanahan as well, and there's plenty of others. Gary Cole, you can say, but I just want to have a little short discussion. I don't know if you saw, but Gary Cole was actually kind of upset that Major League Baseball is kind of denying the bitch clock, uh, having any influence on these pitching injuries. And like you said, as you remember, they used to have 20 seconds to pitch off the stretch when there's runner on. Now they have 18 seconds. So they're kind of like bringing it down a little bit, making pitchers hurry up even more. I'm not saying that's the only factor, but I think it plays a part. I think a major thing is like I think we talked about this earlier too. Is like kids are throwing faster, a lot quicker. Like, and it's kind of
definitely.
hard to like. Well, like Verlander said it best. It's kind of hard to deny the results. Like, how are you gonna tell a college kid who's having success throwing 98 miles per hour to slow it down a little bit, So, it's just like they are trying to work to get to the major leagues. They are trying to be better, right? So it's just kind of hard. I think it's becoming a common trend of the game, even surgeries for younger kids. I feel like with the way technology is, Tommy John's not a big deal anymore as it was before, like when Steven Strasburg had it, when those uh did John say no no John said that Tommy John, but like those uh older pitchers, I feel like it was Tommy John. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen, but now it's just like, oh, you got Tommy John, we'll get ready to throw faster, something like that. But what's your take on that?
I don't know. It could be like a mix of everything. It could be the
Yeah.
pitch clock. It could be not having the substances too, because you remember Tyler Glass now had a big conversation about that. The way that pitchers can't grip the ball, so they're gripping it kind of harder now, and they're
Okay.
throwing it harder. They're gripping, let's say, an off-speed pitch like a curveball or slider. They're trying to spin it, then it won't kind of release out of their hands. It's kind of a mix of everything, I'd say. Then again, pitchers like that's like now I feel like a lot of pitchers are trying to throw as hard as they can. They're trying to throw 98, 99, try to touch 100, try to hit 102.
'Cause it works.
And yeah, and teams are not going to just shy away from that. They're going to be like, "Oh man, this guy could throw this. All right, if you do this, we can sign you, and we'll figure out the command issues. We'll work with our pitching coaches to give that, and also give us your take too. What do y'all think about the superstar pitchers? Because I mean, like you were saying, Angel, Spencer Strider, which a lot of people, including myself, I had him winning the National League Cy Young award this year, which he's done a great job these past 2 seasons making his debut. Yuri Perez was a kid that Marlins baseball were firm on that was going to be a number 2 guy behind Sandy Alcantara. And Alcantara too, you forgot to add him to that list as
He's
well.
hurt too.
Um, now they're down their aces out, and now their number 2 guys out. And I think Alcantara's not going to pitch this season, but he'll probably pitch the following season in 2025. And Yuri Perez is not going to pitch until probably 2026. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. And Shane Bieber too. I mean, he had 2 great starts, and then just out of the blue, and I remember getting the notification on my phone. It said out for the season, Tommy John surgery. So it could be. I honestly think it's a mix of everything. It's not just the pitch clock. It's not just the foreign substances missing, and it's just not pitchers trying to throw faster. It's like it's a little bit of everything, and it's
You
just
know,
unfortunate what baseball at this moment right now, where it's at.
and it's something I've been realizing as you're speaking to me right now. Because of these injuries, what does that mean? There should be more pitchers. Like I remember I was talking to Jose Berrios and Yuri Rodriguez from the Rangers, and something they told me is that they didn't start off as pitchers. Like they were infielders. Uh, Jose Berrios was actually a middle infielder in the Dominican Republic. In his senior year, they, because he had a strong arm from short to first, they converted him to a pitcher. So that's why he believes that his arm's a little fresher than most guys that are in the league. And so is Yuri Rodriguez. He played infield as well. Same story at 16, they transferred into a pitcher, right? So I feel like because of these injuries, the need for pitchers is even greater now. So this isn't that whole cycle is going to repeat itself. Like there's going to be a lot more pitchers, a lot more injuries, and that cycle is just going to keep on going.
And just think about the future of baseball, period. The next
Yeah.
generation of MLB players. We're talking about kids right now throwing in their travel ball clubs and their teams, throwing the fastball, curveball, changeup, off speed pitches that they shouldn't be probably throwing until maybe they're in close to getting to high school. I would say freshman year
Yeah.
of high school, 8th grade. So there's a possibility on that aspect too that you could be seeing a decline of these guys most likely might be having Tommy John sooner than later. It's
Yeah.
just unfortunate where baseball is right now. I think the player union is very upset about the amount of injuries happening around
Yeah.
Major League Baseball. So
I think they released a statement on Saturday, right?
yeah, on Saturday. So that is big, that is significant, and it's like we said, it's just unfortunate where this game is heading as if you're a starting pitcher or even a relief pitcher too. But it's just something to monitor. Maybe pitchers need to relax on throwing 100 and maybe just target 91 with a good placement on their fastball.
I
Stuff
don't
like
think it's
that.
going to happen, but
If you want to prevent the injury, I would say maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I believe so. But
Are you guys going to do any fan meetings in the coming days, weeks, months? Wow.
I don't know.
We might do a live episode again at the Rhino that we had. Shout out to them. It was a cool
Yeah, I think
experience
that's
to do that.
yeah. So we'll
That
try to
might
get
be
more.
yeah, that might be in the works, but we won't know until we make an announcement like we did the last time when we did our first meetup.
Yeah. So I think in the future that's the plan. Do some live podcast, like you said, maybe from restaurant or bars. Yeah. So we'll look out for that.
Definitely be on the lookout. But Angel, we got anything else before we sign off?
No, that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the episode. I know it's late. People got to work tomorrow, but thank you for sticking to us. Yeah, pretty good showing for this live podcast. I appreciate a lot of love and support, and thank you for staying up late with us too.
Yeah, 11:05. You're drinking coffee right now.
I am. I am.
It's an interesting beverage to drink before you're gonna go to sleep.
Right.
But
I
like
got some.
Angels, go
I
ahead.
got some school. I got some school stuff I got to take care of.
You gotta grade those kids, man. Make sure you give them A's, B's, and C's if you have to.
Thanks.
But like Angel said, we appreciate Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're watching this podcast. We appreciate your time being able to take this out of your night, especially at 11:05. We really appreciate it. But like Angel said, haven't follow us on Twitter, X, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all them types of stuff. Make sure you give us a follow, subscribe, leave us a comment, leave us a rate, leave us a review. All those types of things. We really appreciate your support. Last comment before we end it, Angel. Dubon X, rise up. Mauricio Dubon did get to play today, so it was cool to see him get some at-bats for the Astros. But like I said, until then, we won't do a live recording this week. We'll probably do one next week. So be on the lookout for the next recording after that KC series. Have a nice week and be safe.
Peace.